What's up, agents, and welcome back to another Division video. Okay, so I have had a lot of questions in the comments about Strikers versus Heartbreaker. So I'm in the PTS, it's early morning, it's 9 AM, and doing math on a Saturday morning is not good for the brain, but I have found issues, and yeah, they're not the greatest of issues that I found in the PTS. So this is the build that I am running. I adjusted my spreadsheet for all the new values and something didn't add up. I was like, this is crazy. My spreadsheet is saying it should be this number, and it was giving me a completely different number in the range. I logged in, I logged out, I did all the usual stuff to try and do this comparison, but I can't do this comparison because what it says here on the Strikers pack, so this has been changed from this used to be up to 1, right? We all know everyone's gone wild on social media, they're not happy, you've been killing strikers, blah blah blah, but it says 0.85 now, so I just did my damage calculations to 0.85 and my damage numbers were too low in my spreadsheet. This is actually incorrect. It's actually still 1 in the PTS. Now, I know a lot of people are going to be like, why have you told them? Blah, 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 blah. It's not like they're not going to find out, right? It's before the game goes live, me saying this now is going to make 0 difference. So you don't need to comment about it down below. But I can't give you an actual for comparison with this and Heartbreaker. However, I can show you the difference in numbers. So at the moment I will show you here, and I'll copy past through it all a little bit better afterwards at the end in like a bigger summary, and then you can see. So this is what I am right now, but this is with the obliterate changes. They're working as intended in the game, and with the St. Elmo changes, they're working as intended in the game. But that is just it for now. This would be if the backpack is set to 1 and that change doesn't go through. So let's move on to what it actually should be. And just so we show what I'm talking about when I'm saying 1, is if you look here at the bottom, the Striker's gamble bonus is 0.65. It should be changed to 0.85. It should just be a flat 1%. That's what it's giving anyway. It should be 0.85%, but the damage isn't working like that. Either that or I'm rubbish at maths. But when I did the numbers, it doesn't, it doesn't line up. Right, so let's have a look at it as if it was 0.85. All right, so these are the numbers that it should be. So the second set down, I'll make this much bigger at the end if you're struggling to see it. I might be able to zoom in a little bit actually. View, zoom, control page up, control page up, page up. There we go. Right, so we're a bit bigger now. So you can see here the difference. And if we want to, let's look at burst DPS. Here, so if we had the 13,650, 406, so the headshots burst DPS, and we took away the 12,626, 625, there we go. So it is literally 1,000,000 damage different in the burst DPS, and that's just 1 mag, right? So it's not a lot of damage. This is taking into account the new magazine size on the St. Elmo as well. So you've got to think about that also. So yeah, so that is what it is currently in the PTS. That's what it should be in the PTS. So now let's compare it to Heartbreaker. Okay, so we have done our testing in the range. All of the numbers match up when I am at maximum stats, which is great. This is the build that I used for Heartbreaker. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty wild. We get a few extra options here. We went with the chess piece and obviously that because then it matches it to 100 stacks. It's a lot of extra damage. We don't want to use the backpack because that's for survivability, and testing here is damage, and we want to get as close between the Strikers build and the Heartbreaker build as possible. So we've gone with the Group O backpack with Vigilance. And then we get the option to either run maybe Contractor's Gloves or Fox's Pros, whichever ones you want. Maybe it depends on your secondary. But essentially, in this testing, they'll give us the the same outcome. We get 8% extra amp damage, whether that be damage to target out of cover, which will obviously play an effect on health targets, or 8% armor damage. They're calculated in the same way, so either or would work absolutely fine. But then obviously you have to take into consideration about running a pulse. Now normally you would run something with the linked laser pointer. I've wanted to keep the gun the same for this testing because this is literally about testing Strikers versus Heartbreaker. There is a lot of variables here we could change around. We can never do an exact like for like comparison, but I don't know if I showed you the stats before on the Strikers build, but anyway, this one's 55 crit chance. The other one was 55.5 crit chance. We have lost some crit damage here. Unfortunately, about 20% less crit damage in this setup, but obviously we have gained the damage to target out of cover at 8%, which is fairly decent in, as far as comparisons go. Right, so let's take a look at the actual stats. All right, and I'm in shock. I'm going to go back to the Strikers build. I'm convinced I've done something wrong because look at those numbers. Heartbreaker is now the king? No. The burst DPS is 2 million more? Whoa. And this is what you've got to look at here as well, right? So the middle one is what we really should be comparing it to. There is a significant amount difference there. 12, 13, 14, 3 million more if the backpack is, Striker's backpack is broken per magazine here. That is a lot of extra damage. And considering we get survivability, yeah, this is wild. All right, so I'm just going to double check these numbers while I've got you on the horn, as to say. So we ran Striker's backpack. I'll just change it back. I'll be right back. All right, so it's clearly too early for maths, but I have switched back and I've made it more fur, if that's even English. Obviously, I ran the Foxes with the Heartbreaker set, probably giving it a little bit of an advantage because I just ran Group O Seska because I was taking out my Coyotes mask just so I don't have to deal with the Coyotes range variable. So I made this time around a little bit more for. Anyway, it did only eke out a little bit extra damage. The difference isn't that big. But to make it fair, I redid the stats and here we are. So nothing much changes. Heartbreaker still wins with its new buff. And that's with or without the backpack issue I think Strikers has got in the PTS right now. So as you can see at the top, if they keep the backpack at 1, that 13.8 million on the headshot burst DPS, it's still lower, 2 million per magazine lower per magazine. And then if they put it at 0.85, yeah, to 12.8. I don't like looking at that. I don't like looking at that. I did a comparison yesterday for Strikers on the PTS versus Strikers on the live, and obviously that's completely skewed because the difference didn't, had the backpack in, and I didn't know the backpack was damaged and not working at the time. So yeah, the change is actually bigger than what I initially thought. Yeah, so that's going to be it. Heartbreaker making a comeback? I guess so. I need to go and do other things. I spent a long time on this video today. I hope you enjoyed it. Please consider subscribing if you did. Maybe follow me on X or join my community Discord. You'll find all the links in the description. Let me know what you think. I've Got a funny feeling this is going to get some crazy comments. Thanks for watching, agents. Goodbye.